All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Vaibhav Jyotsna Srivastav. The headlines. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announces second tranche of economic stimulus for farmers, migrant workers and traders under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Centre allows states and union territories to hire special buses for transportation of train passengers. Haryana Roadways to start bus service from today. CBSE to give failed students of class 9th and 11th another opportunity to appear in school-based tests. India calls upon G20 nations to ensure access to essential medicines, treatments and vaccines at affordable prices. London High Court rejects fugitive businessman Vijay Mallya's plea seeking to appeal against extradition to India before UK Supreme Court. WTO chief Roberto Azevedo decides to resign a year before his term expires. The Union Government has unveiled the second tranche of relief measures to help alleviate the distress for small farmers, migrant workers, small traders and self-employed people under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Self-Reliant India campaign in the wake of the COVID-19 outbreak. The stimulus was first announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday during his address to the nation. He had called on Indians to be vocal for local. Announcing the measures in New Delhi yesterday, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the government will extend special relief to almost 8 crore migrant workers who do not have either central or state public distribution system PDS cards by giving them free food grain supply for next 2 months.
Those who are non-card holders, for them, they shall be given 5 kgs per person of wheat or rice or 1 kg of chana. So that is for per family. And if the person is remaining without card, he can also get it based on a rough assessment which has been given to us by all the state governments. There are about 8 crore migrants for whom benefit will reach through this free food grain supply.
In her second press conference in as many days, the Finance Minister also announced an affordable rental housing scheme for migrant workers besides 5,000 crore special credit facility for nearly 50 lakh street vendors. Referring to the national portability cards under the One Nation, One Ration Card scheme, Ms. Sitharaman explained that these will be beneficial for all migrant workers in the country. Benefiting over 67 crore people, this scheme will enable a PDS beneficiary to use the ration card in order to procure food grains from any ration shop across the country.
National portability, which is now being defined as One Nation, One Ration Card, will be implemented, and by August 2020, which is another 3 months, within 3 months, 67 crore beneficiaries in 23 states, which means the 67 crore beneficiary is 83% of all the PDS population will get covered by this One Nation, One Ration Card. And we assure 100% coverage of national portability of these cards by March 2021.
In a major boost to the rural economy, Ms. Sitharaman made an announcement of Emergency Working Capital Fund of 30,000 crore rupees for the farmers through NABARD. This amount is in addition to the 90,000 crore rupees announced earlier and is aimed to benefit over 3 crore farmers in the country. In another major announcement benefiting over 2.5 crore farmers in the country, 2 lakh crore concessional credit boost through the Kisan Credit Card Special Drive was made by the Finance Minister. Referring to the swift government response to address the COVID situation, Finance Minister informed about the agricultural loans worth 4 lakh crore rupees availed by marginal farmers as agricultural loans. She announced an extended relief till 31st May in the form of interest moratorium to the farmers on these loans. Announcement pertaining to extension of interest subvention and prompt repayment incentive on crop loans till 31st May was also done. For migrant and the urban poor, government announced affordable rental accommodation. Government-funded housing in cities will be converted into affordable rental housing complexes under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, while both government and private bodies will be incentivized to develop affordable renting housing complexes on their land. Under the Mudra scheme, small businesses will be revamped through the 1,500 crore rupees interest subvention scheme. Government will also provide interest subvention of 2% for the next 12 months for beneficiaries of Mudra Shishu Loan Yojana. Ms. Sitaraman informed that government is committed to spur employment creation across the country. In this endeavour, funds from the Compensatory Afforestation Management and Planning Authority (CAMPA) have been channelized to generate employment in the tribal areas of the country. The minister informed that proposals worth 6,000 crore rupees to help generate employment for tribals for afforestation and plantation-related works is already under pipeline. In a major relief to middle-income families, government also extended the credit-linked subsidy scheme up to March next year. This move is seen to benefit around 2.5 lakh families and will also lead to an investment of over 70,000 crore in the housing sector. Ms. Sitaraman also enumerated series of relief packages introduced by the government for the rural India since the onset of COVID-19 in the country.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a tweet said that the announcements by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will especially benefit the farmers and migrant workers. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said the announcements include a series of progressive measures and will boost food security, credit to farmers as well as the street vendors. Several union ministers have also welcomed the economic package for farmers and migrant workers. Industry bodies have welcomed the second tranche of the stimulus package, saying that it will provide relief to the most vulnerable sections of the society reeling under the impact of COVID-19 and boost the housing sector, aiding economic growth. FICCI President Sangeeta Reddy said the announcements will take forward the elements that were mentioned in the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana and add more dimensions to it. The centre has allowed hiring of special buses by states and union territories to ferry passengers arriving at railway stations in view of the restrictions of public and private transport during the lockdown. The Home Ministry said under the standard operating procedure, to and fro movement of passengers from railway station to home has been allowed on the basis of confirmed e-tickets. The ministry said some of the state governments had requested to allow special buses to ferry the passengers arriving by train to their homes.
Haryana Roadways buses will start plying in various districts of the state from today. The bus service was suspended after the first lockdown. Haryana Transport Minister Moolchand Sharma said, for availing the facility, passengers have to book the tickets online as counter booking will not be available. He said as physical distancing is important in the time of COVID-19, not more than 30 passengers will be allowed in a bus and wearing of masks will be compulsory for every passenger, driver and conductor of the bus. The buses will run from Ambala, Bhiwani, Hisar, Kaithal, Karnal, Narnaul, Panchkula, Rohtak, Rewari and Sirsa depots. In view of the economic package announced by the Union Government, Himachal Government has decided to initiate the development works at local level to generate economic activities. Our correspondent reports that recent incentives announced for MSMEs in economic package will boost industrial production in the state.
Chief Minister Jairam Thakur said efforts must be made to educate the masses in order to avail benefit from economic package announced recently by Prime Minister. He said Union Government has announced economic incentives of Rs 50,000 crore under MSME sector which would be beneficial for the state from every aspect as 95% industries fall under this category. State Industries Minister Bikram Singh said the economic package would boost industrial production in the state. At present, there are about 55,000 MSME industrial units running in Himachal Pradesh. It constitutes 98% of the total units and has 93% share in employment generation. MSME contributes 85% of the total industrial production in the state. Sanjeev Sundaryal, AIR News, Shimla.
In Rajasthan, more than 200 people tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. The maximum 59 cases were reported from Udaipur. The number of active patients has gone up to 1,771, while 2,638 patients have recovered. Our correspondent has the details.
The number of infected persons has suddenly increased after the movement of migrants. 267 migrants in 23 districts have been tested positive for COVID-19 in the state. More cases of COVID-19 in migrants reported from Jalore, Pali, Sirohi and Rajsamand. So far, more than 2 lakh samples have been tested in private and government labs of the state. At present, about 13,000 samples are being tested every day, which will be increased to 25,000 by the end of this month. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot instructed to set up special camps for migrants walking on the roads to reach their destination. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has said that his government will not charge for anything, including train fare from migrant workers returning to the state or going away from UP. For the next 2 months, migrant workers, whose numbers are in millions, will get free ration kits. More from our correspondent.
A record number of 67 trains carrying migrant workers from different states are reaching Uttar Pradesh today. Till date, around 4 lakh migrant workers have arrived in state in 318 trains. Trains will run from different stations like Gautam Buddha Nagar, Ghaziabad and Saharanpur to other parts of the state also. The state will bring migrant workers from Delhi NCR region in 4 trains which will run daily. Special trains will also run for Bihar from Uttar Pradesh. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has given strict orders to officials that not a single person in his state should sleep empty stomach. For this, a massive campaign will be launched in each and every village and ward to identify those persons who have not get food or ration facilities till date in state. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Madhya Pradesh, after the reporting of 253 new cases, the total number of corona-infected cases has risen to 4,426. So far, 237 people have lost their lives in the state due to the infection. The good news is that so far 2,171 people have been cured. A report.
As per the official information, more than 89,000 tests have been conducted in Madhya Pradesh till date. 2,238 cases have been reported in worst affected Indore, while there are 900 cases in Bhopal. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan deposited a total amount of 451 crore in the accounts of more than 1,78,000 beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Rural through single click yesterday. The Chief Minister had earlier deposited more than 82 crore in the accounts of more than 8,000 beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. On this occasion, the Chief Minister said in a conversation with the beneficiaries through video conferencing that every person dreams of having a pakka house. To fulfill this dream, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana is being operated. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Chhattisgarh, more than 16,000 quarantine centers have been established in various villages for the labourers returning from other states. Besides, about 600 quarantine centers have been established in the border areas. The state government is expecting the return of about 3 lakh migrant workers in the coming days. Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel has appealed to the migrant labourers to compulsorily follow the quarantine rules in their villages to prevent the spread of coronavirus.
आपकी जिम्मेदारी बहुत अधिक है क्योंकि बहुत दिन बाद आप घर लौटे हैं। परिवार से मिलने की आपकी उत्कट इच्छा है, लेकिन परिवार को बचाना भी जरूरी है, स्वयं को बचाना जरूरी है। इसलिए आप सब क्वारंटाइन सेंटर में ही रहें और शासन के नियमों का पालन करें।
In Gujarat, infrastructure development work resumed amid the lockdown. Talking to media, Deputy Chief Minister Nitin Patel said 300 infrastructure projects worth 9,000 crore rupees for the construction of roads and buildings have started in the state after the permission from the central government. Mr. Patel inspected the progress of work of Ahmedabad-Gandhinagar highway, which is being turned into a 6-lane highway. Meanwhile, the number of COVID-19 cases in the state rose to 9,592 now, with the addition of 324 fresh cases from 13 districts yesterday. A report.
As many as 191 patients have been discharged after full recovery from COVID-19 yesterday. 20 deaths were reported in the state yesterday, from which around 13 deaths are of people who have comorbid conditions. Principal Secretary of the Health Department Dr. Jayanti Ravi said as many as 1,858 tests are being done against per million on daily basis in the state. Following the complaints regarding large-scale testing of asymptomatic people in private laboratories and high testing costs, government said only people who are admitted or need to admit in private hospital can test their samples in private laboratories. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Vijay Rupani announced Atmanirbhar Gujarat Sahay Yojana yesterday. Under the scheme, 1 lakh rupees guarantee-free loans will be given to the small traders, shopkeepers and self-employed people at just 2% interest rate for 3 years. Aparna Khund, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Central Board of Secondary Education, CBSE, has said that all the failed students of class 9th and 11th will be provided an opportunity to appear in school-based online, offline or innovative tests again. The CBSE said opportunity will be extended to students irrespective of whether their examinations have been completed and the exam results have been released or their exams have not been completed. This facility is to be extended irrespective of number of subjects and attempts. The CBSE has described the move as one-time measure in extraordinary situation. Delhi University has announced that examinations for final year postgraduate and undergraduate students will be held from 1st of July. However, in a notification, the university said in case the situation arising out of the COVID-19 outbreak does not normalize, it will adopt open book mode to conduct the test. A detailed date sheet is likely to be notified by the end of this month.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Finance Minister Nirmala Seetharaman announces second tranche of economic stimulus for farmers, migrant workers and traders under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. The centre allows states and union territories to hire special buses for transportation of train passengers. Haryana Roadways to start bus service from today. CBSE to give failed students of class 9th and 11th another opportunity to appear in school-based tests. India calls upon G20 nations to ensure access to essential medicines, treatments and vaccines at affordable prices. London High Court rejects fugitive businessman Vijay Mallya's plea seeking to appeal against extradition to India before the UK Supreme Court. And WTO chief Roberto Azevedo decides to resign a year before his term expires. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation co-chair Bill Gates through video conferencing yesterday. They discussed the global response to COVID-19 and the importance of global coordination on scientific innovation and R&D to combat the pandemic. The Prime Minister underlined the conscious approach that India has adopted in its fight against the health crisis, an approach based on ensuring public engagement through appropriate messaging. India has called upon the G20 nations to ensure access to essential medicines, treatments and vaccines at affordable prices. Speaking at the second G20 Virtual Trade and Investment Ministers meeting through video conferencing, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal asked the G20 members to first focus on immediate and concrete actions that can ease the distress being faced by people all over the world due to corona pandemic.
The London High Court has rejected fugitive businessman Vijay Mallya's plea to appeal against extradition to India before the UK Supreme Court. After the rejection of his plea, Mallya has no legal options left in the United Kingdom and will likely be extradited to India within 28 days. UK Home Secretary Preeti Patel will now take a final call to formally certify the court order for Vijay Mallya to be extradited to India within 28 days. Following this, concerned authorities in the UK will coordinate to extradite Mallya to India. Mallya is accused of defrauding Indian banks to the tune of over 11,000 crore rupees. The Central Bureau of Investigation and the Enforcement Directorate have been pursuing Vijay Mallya's extradition case since 2016 in the UK courts. He fled the country in 2016. In an unprecedented move, the head of the World Trade Organization, WTO, Roberto Azevedo, has decided to resign a year before his term expires. Mr. Azevedo, a former diplomat from Brazil, said he will step down on the 31st of August, cutting short a 7-year tenure marked in recent years by intense pressure from US President Donald Trump. In a special meeting of the WTO delegations, Mr. Azevedo said it is a personal decision, a family decision.
As part of Vande Bharat mission, a total of 56 flights have brought back Indian nationals from 12 countries till now. External Affairs Ministry spokesman Anurag Srivastava said that in addition, 904 Indians have been repatriated from Maldives by INS Jalashwa and INS Magar. Some others have arrived through deportation flights from various countries. In the last few days, more than 12,000 Indian nationals have returned safely. The second phase of the mission will begin from tomorrow and continue till 22nd May. As part of Samudra Setu mission, Indian Navy ship INS Jalashwa will sail again from Maldives' capital of Malé today, bringing back around 700 residents of Kerala and Lakshadweep. The pre-embarkation activities have begun and people are being ferried from different points of Malé to the airport where immigration and medical checkup are to be carried out. The ship will depart in the afternoon and all safety precautions are being adhered to. The ship had earlier brought back 698 Indian nationals to Kochi on Sunday. Another ship, INS Magar, had reached Kochi on Sunday with 202 Indian nationals. Indian High Commission in Malé has said that Air India evacuation flights are being planned to cities of New Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai and Chennai for residents of other states except Kerala.
A special flight under the Vande Bharat mission with over 300 passengers on board arrived from London at the Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport early this morning. A train carrying over 1,400 migrant workers left from Sindhu Durg station for Bijapur in Karnataka last night. Another train carrying over 900 passengers left for Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh from Miraj. Meantime, Khadi and Village Industries Commission is also playing a positive role in the fight against COVID-19. They have tied up with the NGOs to distribute food packets to migrant workers in Mumbai, Thane and Palghar. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
18 Khadi institutes located in 18 districts of Maharashtra made around 11,000 face masks using cotton cloth. An agency under Spurti scheme has handed over these masks to the district collectors. The Khadi institutions in the state also came forward to take care of artisans and their families. While one such institution has distributed grocery items, a Spurti agency also has provided 300 raw food packets to the artisans. An amount of ₹1,000 has been deposited in the bank accounts of 601 artisans. 3 Khadi institutions together contributed the total fund of 6,01,000 rupees for this purpose. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
In the penultimate leg of the first phase of Vande Bharat mission, 2 flights landed at Chennai airport, ferrying distressed Indians from abroad. The first flight, carrying 158 Indians from Dhaka, reached in the afternoon yesterday, while the second one brought 167 passengers stranded in the Philippines. In the last leg of the first phase today, a flight is scheduled to touch down the Chennai airport from London via Mumbai this afternoon. Meanwhile, the number of COVID-19 infected patients in Tamil Nadu has soared to 9,674, with the confirmation of 447 more people yesterday. Our correspondent has filed this report.
The state government has decided to modify its testing and quarantine protocols slightly for travellers. A government circular says for those travelling from one district to the other in the state, only symptomatic people are to be tested. For those coming from high prevalence states, testing followed by 7 days of institutional quarantine is a must. After 7 days, If asymptomatic, they can go for 7 more days of home quarantine. For those coming from low prevalence states, test followed by 14-day home quarantine is sufficient. Those who come from abroad will be tested at the airport and sent for a 7-day institutional or hotel quarantine. A second test will be made on the 7th day, and if it is negative, they will be sent for 14 more days of home quarantine. Pregnant women, terminally ill and very aged persons, and those who come for funeral are allowed home quarantine straight away after the test. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
The External Affairs Ministry has said that it does not discriminate between states. In a series of tweets, the ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said the government's Vande Bharat mission is for all stranded Indians, including those from West Bengal. He said over 3,700 of them have registered for repatriation from different parts of the world. Mr. Srivastava said flights will be facilitated to Kolkata if the state government will confirm arrangements to receive and quarantine. In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of the leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, senior physician from Safdarjung Hospital, New Delhi, Dr. M.K. Sen said these are testing times and basic rules should be followed during lockdown.
ये घड़ी एक परीक्षा की घड़ी है। ये वक्त हमें और भी अधिक मात्रा में संयम, सुरक्षा और अनुशासन का ध्यान में रखना है। जो लॉकडाउन के मूल मंत्र हैं, जैसे कि सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग हुआ या स्वच्छता, क्लीनलीनेस, यूज ऑफ मास्क, हैंड वॉशिंग, इसको निरंतर पालन हमें करते रहना होगा।
The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. This can be heard tonight on the FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:25 p.m. onwards. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free numbers 1800-115767.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. Delhi is likely to witness a partially cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder lightning. The minimum temperature in the national capital will be 24 degrees Celsius, while maximum temperature is expected to be 40 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will experience a mainly clear sky, becoming partially cloudy towards the evening. In the south, Chennai will see a generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperatures will hover between 29 and 36 degrees Celsius. In the east, Kolkata will witness a partially cloudy sky with possibility of moderate thunderstorm. On to north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature in Jammu today will be 22 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 34 degrees Celsius. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature will be 13 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be 21. The region is likely to experience thunderstorm with rain. Similar weather is expected to prevail in Gilgit, where the temperature will hover between 13 and 24 degrees Celsius today. In Muzaffarabad, there will be partially cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. All newspapers today talk about measures taken by the government to support the poor in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. The Economic Times states, helping hand to migrants and poor. FM announces welfare measures to improve the lot of farmers, street vendors and urban poor. While the Hindustan Times states, ration for migrants, farm relief in the second tranche of government stimulus. Sharing the concern with millions of Indians, especially migrant workers, poor households and daily wage workers, cost-saving measures are being adopted by the President's office. The Hindustan Times headline reads, no new limo, fewer guests in presidential austerity. And as part of measures to reduce the mounting pension burden of the army, Short Service Commission to be made more attractive, states The Hindu.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announces second tranche of economic stimulus for farmers, migrant workers and traders under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Centre allows states and union territories to hire special buses for transportation of train passengers. Haryana Roadways to start bus service from today. CBSE to give failed students of class 9th and 11th another opportunity to appear in school-based tests. India calls upon G20 nations to ensure access to essential medicines, treatments and vaccines at affordable prices. London High Court rejects fugitive businessman Vijay Mallya's plea seeking to appeal against extradition to India before UK Supreme Court. WTO chief Roberto Azevedo decides to resign a year before his term expires. And with that we end the morning news. Have a nice day.